WarioWare. Such a wonderful game series with its own unique personality and gameplay style. Why do I hear almost nothing about it? I get that it may not have the star power or cultural relevance as many other Nintendo series, but for a series that's been around as long as it has, I'm honestly quite surprised I don't hear more people talking about it. You think featuring Wario would be enough, but I guess the strange sense of humor and lack of recognizable characters is not enough to sustain a lot of people's interest. Lucky for the 5 Wario fans watching this video, I found this neat iceberg made by Ray But WarioWare on Reddit, and luckily for me, I get an excuse to talk about a game series I hold near and dear to my heart. For those unaware, an iceberg chart is set up like this. It talks about facts or interesting events surrounding a topic, getting more obscure or strange as you traverse lower down the levels. Ray will also be joining me in narrating some of them.
Hello!
Okay, with all that being said, let's dive right into the...
Hi everyone! My name is the funny Reddit girl with the pure icon who made the funny iceberg. But because we're besties now, you can call me Ray. I will be your guide through this first layer. The variation of voices will go up on layer 2 and onwards, but for layer 1, you'll have to deal with me for a hot bit. Alright? Alright. Also, if you notice any of the entries in the iceberg that weren't on my original masterpiece, that is exclusive content only on the YouTube version. Kinda like a day 1 version, but like, you know, cool. Microgames. This is in reference to the main form of gameplay, where a minigame with a short command plays and the player is tasked with completing it. Microgames usually last a very short time, rarely ever breaching 10 seconds. As you complete a lot of microgames in succession, games get harder and faster, making it more difficult to be completed. Ashley. Ashley is one of, if not the most popular character in all of WarioWare. She is a witch girl that was introduced in WarioWare Touched with her sidekick and bestie, Red. She also has an entire theme that frames her as this cruel witch, ready to fight you at the slightest provocation. With magic, of course. Side note, but I also find this theme really funny because after Touched, Ashley just became less and less cruel and more irritable, tired, hungry, and doesn't really want to talk to people. Or at least that's how she comes off. Shh! Don't spoil my later entries! Vocal themes. Vocal themes refers to how every game has at least one track that is sung with vocals. This theme would usually play during a particular level in WarioWare. In order of appearance, the big vocal themes from each game includes Drifting Away in 4 Seasons and Mega Micro Games, Stealth Turtles and Party Games, Mona Pizza and Twisted, Mike's Song and Ashley's theme in Touched, Tomorrow Hill and Smooth Moves, The Screams of the Innocents and Snapped, Body Rock and DIY, 18x13 and Gold, and Penny's theme in Get It Together. Game & Wario. Game & Wario was a WarioWare game, or WarioWare adjacent game, depending on who you ask, that was released on the Wii U. I say who you ask because most people don't really consider this a mainline WarioWare game, as it does not have WarioWare in the name. The game also strays away from the microgame aspect for more traditional minigames, and according to most fans, the lower quality of a game Game & Wario is to the rest of the series. This is sadly the only WarioWare game that, as of writing this section, I have not played, so I'm unable to really give an opinion on it as this, okay, I'm not even gonna pretend like I had, I am recording this way after I've played Game & Wario. So, I did actually play Game & Wario, and I can confidently say, not a fan. Not a fan. Smash Brothers. I don't think I need to tell you what Smash Brothers is, but this entry is specifically in reference to the decent amount of WarioWare content in Smash Brothers. This includes several vocal tracks, notably Ashley's theme being remixed in Smash Brawl, a Cat and Anna assist trophy that was sadly cut after Smash 4 because Nintendo hates me, an Ashley assist trophy that ironically upset many fans who wanted her as an official fighter, and several characters being unlockable spirits in Ultimate. On top of this, there were also 2 WarioWare-themed stages, one representing WarioWare Inc., and another recreating the popular Sneaky Gamer minigame from Game & Wario in Gold. The only one of the, few parts of Game & Wario I could stand. Level themes. Level themes refers to the fact that levels in a WarioWare game will generally follow a specific theme. For example, one level may be more focused on sports-themed microgames, and another might be focused on food-themed microgames. This is also usually attached to a character who the level will belong to, like how Ashley was behind the food-themed level in WarioWare Get It Together. Nintendo Classics. Speaking of themes, one recurring level theme in every WarioWare game is Nintendo Classics, hosted by 9V and occasionally 18V and 5V. Sometimes it's a mixture of the three, like with WarioWare Gold. Nintendo Classics is exactly what it sounds like, a series of microgames that make reference to several Nintendo properties, including but not limited to Mario, obviously, Fire Emblem, and Star Fox. These are generally the more popular levels, as references can range from no-duh references to lesser-known references like Hanafuda. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Classics because I get to see all the Scrunko interactions between 9V and 18V. They are my babies, and I have adopted them, and they are mine. You cannot have them. Jimmy T. You know what? Hold on. Jimmy T!
Jimmy T!
Jimmy T is a character in WarioWare, another decently popular character, who in the first game, along with hosting the sports category, hosted the remix levels. These remix levels would mix together several different categories that came before it into one. Side note, Jimmy T is my dad, and I refuse to accept criticism on this point. Mona's many jobs. Mona is another character in WarioWare who throughout the series can be seen taking up many occupations and hobbies. This can range between being a cheer captain in Smooth Moves, a treasure hunter in DIY, and a guitarist in Twisted. However, her main job throughout the whole series is a delivery girl at a pizza joint named after herself, Mona's Pizza. Did I mention that this girl is able to do all this while also being a high schooler? What the hell is that about? WarioWare Twisted. Twisted is the second game in the WarioWare franchise, which was notable for having a gyroscope built onto the cartridge to allow twist controls on the Game Boy Advance, which, as you might have guessed, didn't have it natively. And despite what you might think, it actually works pretty well, and if I could gush, I fucking love this stupid game. WarioWare DIY. This is in reference to the 2009 DS game where you could make your own microgames. This game came with pre-made microgame levels, but the game's main function was to have the player make microgames themselves. The editor was actually pretty in-depth for a DIY game maker, and it even came with a music and comic editor. This game also eventually got a sister game, a WarioWare game called DIY Showcase, where you could send your microgames to your Wii, and the games even had pre-made microgames that the DS game didn't even have. Unfortunately, both of these game sharing capabilities were capped when the Wii and the DS's online service were shut down. I mean, if you ignore a particular detail, but that's later in the iceberg, so shh what I tell you about spoiling my later entries. Pyaro. Pyaro is an in-universe mascot for the fictional city of Diamond City's top-selling game of the same name. The success of Pyaro's game led Wario to see the money-making potential of the games, followed by the opening of WarioWare Incorporated. Of course, Pyaro isn't just a piece of world building. Pyaro even has his own mini-games, where you can get to play as the funny bird himself, extending your tongue and catching beans for points. Hell, Pyaro even eventually got to be a playable character in Get It Together, also playing as the game's secret antagonist, whose only motivation for being the antagonist was just that he was bored. Oh, and for the record, this bird is my favorite WarioWare character. He's just a silly little guy, and I love him.
I'm back.
Redesigns. Since the series underwent a pretty big art style change from Game & Wario to WarioWare Gold, most characters have had a bit of a redesign. The most jarring one, however, is Orbulon, who went from this lanky, elongated alien with sweet boots, to this little gremlin who doesn't have sweet boots. I like both designs, but I slightly preferred the older one. Everyone's voice has also changed, save for the always iconic Charles Martinet voicing Wario.
Dummy Me-Face. This entry refers to the Me-Face that is used in WarioWare Smooth Moves if, for some reason, a microgame involving Miis can't pull a face. To my knowledge, this shouldn't be possible, as Smooth Moves requires you to pick a Mii when making a profile, but, like, it's there, I guess? I just, thought it was interesting.
Spirit Battles. Several WarioWare characters are introduced as spirits in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Jimmy T, Dr. Krygor, and 5-Volt are primary spirits. Wario Man too, if he counts as a WarioWare character. Kat and Anna make up one master spirit, and all of the other main characters are support spirits. WarioWare Twisted European release. WarioWare Twisted was initially slated for a European release on June 24th, 2005. This date kept getting pushed back further and further due to the game still undergoing mandatory LGA testing and approval. Near the end of 2008, the Game Boy Advance was discontinued. Nintendo removed the game from its European website, leaving the game never released in that continent. Vanessa. Vanessa is a character from WarioWare Touched, who serves as Mona's music rival. She hasn't appeared in the game since. My best guess is that her anger mainly came from Mona topping her in the charts, and since Mona already hops from job to job so often, she probably doesn't see it as worthwhile to stay mad at her. Jimmy T's ex. In Mega Party games, Jimmy T has a girlfriend. This pixelated PNG woman asks him to choose between his love of dancing or his love for her. When he busts a sweet dance move, she leaves him, making him say with MS Paint tears on his face that the rhythm made him do it. She hasn't appeared or been referenced since. It's okay, Jimmy. Women are temporary, but funk is forever. Ashley Splatoon Badge. This refers to the Ashley badges you can get from the Nintendo Badge Arcade. Ashley does have a badge where she sports Splatoon attire and carries one of the weapons, but she has several other badges where she cosplays as characters from other games such as Majora's Mask, Yokai Watch, and Tank Troopers. For some reason.
Jimmy T's family. Between the two WarioWare entries, Twisted and Touched, we are introduced to Jimmy T's family, which consists of his parents Mama T and Papa T, along with his sister Jamie T and his brother James T. In these two games mentioned, they mostly serve as a replacement for Jimmy changing afro colors in the first game during the remix levels. However, after Touch, they didn't really show up as much, which is unfortunate because I really like them. Though, to make up for this in some way and get it together, there is a piece of unlockable art of Jimmy T viewing a picture of his family on his phone. Very wholesome content, I'm here for it.
Diamond Software. Diamond Software is a company in the WarioWare universe that not only produces microgames like WarioWare Inc., but also comics and records as well. The company is run by Joe, who has also had his fair share of jobs through the games like Mona. Judging by its size, Diamond Software seems to be doing better than WarioWare Inc., which explains why our main characters quit to join them in WarioWare Do-It-Yourself. That didn't last long though. Still, when is Wario gonna voluntarily pay these guys?
Gold Cutscene Studio. The Cutscene Studio in WarioWare Gold was a big selling point of the game. It was where you could take a majority of cutscenes in the game and record over them with your handheld console's microphone. That sounds like the mic you'd hear someone use on Halo 2 in 2004, while you can hear Eminem's Encore playing in the background.
Hey guys, welcome to my Halo 2 Let's Play.
Despite the quality limitations, of course, it is very fun and very silly to do, and I really like how it constantly cuts you off. It is just generally a good time.
Oh, if it isn't my best friend Stevens.
Jimmy P. This character exists only in Smooth Moves as a doppelganger of Jimmy T, mirroring everything about him from his appearance to his level. They do cross paths, but it's never properly explained. Are they somehow related? Is one a clone of the other? Honestly, as a kid, I slightly preferred Jimmy P. Don't ask me why, I just think he's lit. Ko Takeuchi. Ko Takeuchi is the main character designer for WarioWare and Rhythm Heaven, explaining the similar art style and strange obsession with ginger women. He posts a lot of his own fan art on Twitter and does some more meme-y stuff as well. Most controversially, he drew the mascot of Gamergate. Yeah, I'm not opening this can of worms. Orbulon's voice. I already mentioned before that all characters except Wario changed voice actors, but the biggest change can be heard in Orbulon. As if removing his cool boots and neutering his height wasn't enough, his voice went from a monotonous synthesizer sound
excellent, fire, good job, great, hello, hey.
To a bit more of a goofy voice with a distortion effect over it.
Money is falling from the sky. It is getting harder. Such excitement. Energy.
Maybe it's just my nostalgia talking, but I still slightly prefer the old voice just for how unique it is. I don't know, maybe he should just sound like this. WarioWare Gold character trailers. On YouTube, you can find several character trailers promoting WarioWare Gold. Some people may not know about this, as these weren't exactly advertised on TV often, if at all. They show some interesting things about some characters, such as seemingly confirming that Young Cricket is the same character featured in the Kung Fu Ball minigame in Rhythm Heaven.
9V and 18V aren't related. It both surprised me and also doesn't surprise me that people don't know this, as 9V and 18V look nothing alike, but yeah, they are not related. When 18V was introduced in Twisted, they even make sure to emphasize this. As a side tangent to this, people also mistakenly assume 18V is 9V's dad. This is also not the case, as 18V is in the same grade as 9V. However, I don't really blame people for not knowing this, as they do share similar names for no explained reason. 18V is really tall for a kid his age, and also information to the contrary being in the game that nowadays is hard to emulate, much less get a legal copy of, probably didn't help the confusion at all. But that doesn't stop me from still seething whenever I see somebody call 18V 9V's dad. Penny's eyes. When Penny was first introduced in Smooth Moves, she was given brown eyes for her character design. However, for reasons, once the characters were redesigned for gold, her eyes completely changed to the color blue. This has led many to theorize that she has heterochromia and simply has a colored contact for the other eye. This is a fan theory that I myself very heavily believe in because it sounds cute and I like it, and shut up.
Sal Out. Sal Out is a famous pop star in the WarioWare universe. Besides her singing the Mona Pizza theme song, being Penny's inspiration for becoming a pop star, and her most likely being, well, a sellout, not much else is known about her. WarioWare Snapped. This was a game released from 2008 to 2010 on DSiWare on the Nintendo DSi. This game's gimmick is that it uses the built-in camera to create a silhouette of the player to play their microgames as it moves along with them. It only features a small portion of the recurring cast and is much less well known or acknowledged compared to the other games. Four Seasons and Drifting Away music videos. These two in-game songs actually have their own music videos. Shot in live action, they feature a hand writing out the Japanese lyrics, accompanied with nature scenery, and also these weird cutouts of the characters. These can be unlocked and watched in-game naturally by beating a level in Mega Party games. Well, on a GameCube, I'd imagine it looked more like this. Regional differences. There are way too many of these to name them all, so I'll just explain that most of these changes are due to the visuals needing to make more sense in whatever region the game was released in, such as Japanese aesthetics being modified for a US or Korean release. These may also include slight censorships, or much-needed modifications such as, oh no. Yeah, that's not good. Wario's Amiibo drawings. Wario's Amiibo sketch is an unlockable feature in WarioWare Gold where, upon scanning an Amiibo, Wario will draw them. All of his drawings are pretty bad, except of course when he draws himself, which causes him to suddenly become a successful manga artist. Junk and My Trunk Level 3. The microgame Junk and My Trunk from Smooth Moves has the player help an elephant pick up apples. This changes in Level 3 when you have to return a balloon to a real ass woman. Who is this bitch? Why does she look like she's from a completely different game? I guess of all of the weird things this game has to offer, this is relatively tame, but still. Also, an honorable mention goes to this girl in the microgame Saving Face for a similar reason.
Human Orbulon. So, being an alien on Earth, there will probably be times Orbulon would want to disguise himself. Because I guess in this world where talking cat and dog people exist, the alien is the thing that's apparently weird to everyone. So Orbulon creates himself a human form he uses in both Mega Party games and one of the Gold trailers. Now, as you probably noticed, his human form is notably more feminine, which you could chalk up to him just wanting a more effective disguise, but I think this interpretation is cowardice, and be Orbulon goated. Crazy Galaxy. This refers to an April Fool's announcement on Nintendo Badge Arcade announcing a game where an older Ashley is the protagonist. This of course ended up to not be a real game, and Ashley fans, myself included, have not seen peace since. In the arms of an angel.
Wario Land 4 assets reused in WarioWare. Many audio clips from Mega Microgames actually originally come from Wario Land 4. Take a listen.
Excellent! Mamma mia! Excellent! Mamma mia!
As most likely proven by Jimmy T's MS Paint tears, the budget for this game was probably nothing to sneeze at, so it makes sense if they wanted to cut some corners. Can you keep a secret? This line comes from the odd microgame Shh from WarioWare Do-It-Yourself. The player has the ability to write down a secret. To win this game, all you have to do is say, "Okay," to Wario asking if you can keep a secret, to which Wario will reply with the aforementioned secret the player wrote. Cat and Anna's pets. In Mega Microgames, Cat has a dog named Paw and Anna has a sparrow named Dawn. In WarioWare Twisted, their pets become Shadow the dog and Shuriken the falcon. They also get a pet monkey named Nunchuck in WarioWare Touched, and there are also these turtles in the dojo in Smooth Moves. Jeez, and I thought Mona having these pets was mad weird. Rhythm Heaven and WarioWare are in the same universe. This was already partially explained since Young Cricket has been confirmed to be this kid from Kung Fu Ball from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Same character in both game series, same in-game universe. Pretty self-explanatory. This makes sense because both games are made by the same people. Other Rhythm Heaven characters that have showed up in WarioWare games include Karate Joe, the DJ School Guys, and a plush of Tibby and Get It Together. Do any WarioWare characters show up in Rhythm Heaven? Get back to me in one entry and I'll tell you.
Dojinsoft. So, remember when I said WarioWare DIY sharing capability got capped? Well, thanks to Dojinsoft, not anymore. Dojinsoft is a website that hosts thousands of microgames, records, and comics made in DIY. So thank you, Dojinsoft, for preserving history, cause Nintendo sure as hell ain't gonna do it themselves.
WarioWare? See, I wasn't lying. This is the name of a level that can be found on the challenge train in Rhythm Heaven Megamix. This one's probably one of the easiest challenges, as you just have to complete these levels at normal speed that have new WarioWare themed skins. These levels are Tap Trial, Munchie Monk, Philobots, Super Samurai Slice, the Clappy Trio, Freeze Frame, Catchy Tune 2, and Ringside. Young Dragonfly. As we know by now, Young Cricket is this kid from the Rhythm Heaven minigame Kung Fu Ball. Well, if that's him, then who's this? We haven't seen her appear in any WarioWare content. On WarioForums.com in March of 2021, she was dubbed Young Dragonfly by a fan, just to have something to call her. This name seemed to stick pretty well, and she's also sometimes interpreted as Young Cricket's cousin.
9Volt and 8Volt temporarily worked at different companies. So, a little bit of lore in a WiiWare game you can't get legally anymore, but in WarioWare DI Showcase, it's revealed that when Wario's workers quit in DIY, some of them stayed, which didn't include 9Volt, but does involve his not father, brother, or even relative, 18Volt. There's even a little cutscene that shows 9Volt being the boss of 18Volt's stage. This, of course, is never expanded on in any other game because there's really no reason for them to, but it's an interesting story piece nonetheless.
Tetris 99 WarioWare Crossover. As a reward for the player in the 24th Maximus Cup, it was possible to unlock a skin based on WarioWare, specifically Get It Together. This only lasted from September 17th to the 20th in 2021.
Gold character cards. This is in reference to the character cards in WarioWare Gold that you can unlock that give information on characters in the game. And I mean a majority of the characters in the game. Like, they have a card for the drive-thru attendant in Orbulon's level. This has a lot of notable pieces of information, which I decided to bunch together into this one entry. First of all, Dr. Crygor is apparently over 100 years old, meaning no matter how old you are, if you want to date Crygor, you're strange. On top of this, 18Volt is a vegetarian, or at least he's just generally not a meat person. And through 5Volt's card, we actually find out she has a firefighter as a husband. Now, I don't know why he is never shown or talked about in the whole franchise, but this sadly has messed with several of my fan theories, and I am pissed off now. Now that I mention it, Game & Wario also had these character cards, which through that I found out Red's trident is supposed to be a part of his body? I mean, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, and I'm too scared to ask really, but alright Game & Wario, whatever you say.
Ashley's age. In the English version of the series, she's canonically 15 and has a well-suited voice.
I see. Wicked.
However, her age is not made clear in the Japanese version, with some people claiming she's meant to be as young as 8. Either way, the Japanese version also gives her a fitting voice. The age gap between versions of the game is a little strange, but here's a fun fact. If you even think about sexualizing her, we have full permission to remove your bones. There are 2 Reds. This can be seen in these stickers from the Pumpkin Panic minigame. It shows Ashley on a broom next to her magical partner Red. But it's also canon that Red transforms into her broom for her. So, are there 2 Reds? Does Ashley actually carry a real broom with her in case he doesn't feel like transforming one day? Who knows? Test.moflex. Test.moflex can be found in the game files of WarioWare Gold as a label for a beta cutscene for Penny's games. It features Takeuchi's hand-drawn art, and she even still had her brown eyes at one point. Huh. Mario Kart courses. In Mario Kart Arcade GP and its sequel, there's a course called Diamond City. This is clearly the same one that the WarioWare series takes place in, proven by the appearances of Club Sugar, the castle, and the Diamond Taxi service. Something quite odd is that Professor Egad from the Luigi's Mansion series is featured prominently here in various decor, despite never appearing in the WarioWare games. I suppose most Mario or Mario-adjacent games take place in the same universe, so it's not the weirdest thing ever, just an interesting choice. WarioWare Do-It-Yourself was a commercial failure. This one confused me at first, since the game seemed to get pretty high scores from critics and audiences alike, but it is true. This game would mark the lowest sales in the series, doing worse in Western countries than in Japan. Most likely, this is due to the complexity of the game-making system and the bold departure from what fans grew to expect from the series. This game seems to be more positively regarded now, though. Some devoted fans use this game to make, TF2ware. This is a fan-made game map for TF2 that makes players compete in microgames, just like in WarioWare. The player with the most points after the boss stage gets free reign to kill whoever is on the map before the scores reset and the game starts again. Cut microgames. There honestly aren't too many, which is surprising considering how many can be in each game. The only ones that were cut came from Mega Microgames, being microgames based off the already existing Pong, Block Fever, and F1 Race, as well as a versus minigame of Ping Pong. WarioWare Tuned. This is a fan-made series made by Newgrounds user Behan. There are 5 episodes that have since been remastered and can now be found on YouTube. He's also the guy behind the WarioWare Gold Reanimated project. I'll be leaving links to these in the description.
Iwata. How idiotic. Apparently, when he first tried Twisted, Mr. Iwata himself was shown spinning in his chair, having the time of his life while describing the game as idiotic. I don't have any clever commentary about that, I just thought it was really funny, so I put it here.
Mario Artist Polygon Studio. This was a game released for the Nintendo 64 DD, only in Japan, on August 29, 2000. One of the minigames in it was Sound Bomber, which contained very short minigames that would become the blueprint for the WarioWare series, some of which even officially making it into the franchise. WarioWare Do-It-Yourself Boss Microgame Info. For some reason, unlike in previous games, the bosses in Do-It-Yourself are unable to be selected from a menu to replay after completion. This means they are missing a description like in the other WarioWare games. There was info written for them, however, that can only be accessed through hacking and when otherwise unused.
The key to good mochi. So, in the code of Twisted, there is some unused text for an item that was cut out of the US release, and Yeah, y'all knew what y'all were doing here. Go to jail. Don't collect $200. You strange people. Okay, so I don't really know how to pronounce this one, but pi_amb_last1.ogg. This refers to the unused track in Game & Wario that was going to be used in the Pyoro minigame. It's this pretty little file with splashy noises and fun little plink plunks. It's basically the best ambient track ever. I'm really mad that they didn't put this in the game, and I will be contacting my lawyer, who is also Pyoro. But I'm just glad that we do have access to it.
Game length button. In the Game Maker-Matic section of the same game, near the buttons where you can choose the length of your game, there is an invisible button that allows you to set the length to one of a boss microgame, which is longer than the other two options. It can be selected by importing a boss microgame into the do-it-yourself shelves with some kind of save editor. WarioWare was developed in secret. Surprisingly, this is actually true. WarioWare was originally developed in secret because of its unique gameplay style, almost completely new cast of characters, and offbeat aesthetic which diverted heavily from what Nintendo was used to making. Even now, I think it gets shafted compared to other more popular titles, but all things considered, I think the series is doing quite well. They still have more games than Rhythm Heaven. What the fuck was that? Dr. Mario-kun Episode 50. In the 50th strip of the Dr. Mario comic, there are one-page promos of upcoming Wii games. One of them was Smooth Moves, as shown here in a comic of Wario getting frustrated with his game. My Japanese is very rusty, but from what I can understand, something isn't quite working right with Wario's game. He blames the computer for being outdated and destroys it in a fit of rage. Penny comes in to see how the game testing is going, with Wario proclaiming he reset the game and is starting from scratch one more time. This comic is significant for WarioWare because it marks the first WarioWare character to appear in Mario media, being Penny Krieger. It's like a piece of you has died. Erasing your data in WarioWare Twisted will yield the following message. You've erased all your data. It's like a piece of you has died. Press start when you're done grieving. Yeesh, very needlessly dramatic.
Ash Sheni. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but this is the popular shift between Ashley and Penny, generally playing off of the trope of excitable girl falls in love with girl who seems tired of everyone around her. It's pure, it's gay, that's all I ask for, just, don't be weirdos about it or I'm gonna get violent!
Franck was Shag. Franck wasn't always named Franck. In his first appearance, his name was Shaggy in the Japanese version of Mega Microgames. However, the geniuses who translated the game to English decided to shorten it to... Yeah, I could understand why people would be upset about this.
Why, check this out! I'm Super Shag!
WarioWare sticker in Metroid Prime. In Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and the Metroid Prime Trilogy, you can unlock bumper stickers for your ship in the bonus gallery that you can purchase with credits. These represent prior Nintendo Wii releases, including WarioWare Smooth Moves, with the design being ripped straight from the title screen and box art. Orbulon's eyes. Orbulon always wears these sweet shades, meaning his eyes are a mystery to the player. Unless you were to go into the game files of WarioWare Twisted and see that his eyes actually look like... well, he does look a little weird. I'm gonna just do that. Lulu is Tracy. This is Lulu who debuted in WarioWare Gold. This is Tracy from the Earthbound series. This cannot be a coincidence. I guess this confirms that WarioWare is in the Undertale universe. Because Ness is sad. CM mode. In the demo for Mega Microgames, if the player were to beat all 21 microgames, the game would shift into CM mode, or commercial mode. This would replay the minigames with different text, this time promoting the full game and encouraging you to buy it. Doris 2. The robot Doris, introduced in WarioWare Gold, is specifically named Doris 1. She was abandoned by her creator, Dr. Krygor. Now, why else would she be specified as number 1 if there wasn't another version that came after her? It would explain why she was left in the woods. She has a newer or more functional counterpart. All I'm saying is I'm hyped to see Doris 2.
Wario is a jerk with a heart of gold. This is an interpretation of Wario's character where Wario actually does care for his friends, even if it doesn't look like it. At all. Now, I'm really funny and forgot to mention one of the WarioWare Gold cards, but also it's cool because I wanted to save it for this one specifically, as Wario's character card says that he keeps his door unlocked for any of his friends to visit whenever they want. On top of this, Wario has a group photo of all of his friends in his house, along with hanging up photos that Lulu took in her character trailer in his house next to them. Now, I could start dumping all my crack-headed fan theory stuff about the implied deepness of Wario and his self-esteem using information from old Mario comics, and my brainworms running amok like that one really popular Charlie Day image, but 1, I don't want this video to be like 12 hours long, and 2, we haven't even hit layer 7 yet. I'm not allowed to go into my crack-headed theories. Speaking of which, though, references in DDLC. Now, I know what you're thinking. There were WarioWare references in Doki Doki Literature Club? And to answer your question, no. There's actually 2 of them, and both from Touched, and Ashley related, for some reason. The first one is one of the opening screen messages that can start after starting Act 2, which reads, "I have granted kids to help," which, for those of you who don't know, you might hear when speeding up Ashley's theme in Touched. The other reference is a sound clip of Ashley saying, "Bah," being used in one of the poem minigames, which is a syllable used from her theme. Now, I know what you're now thinking. Wow, Ray, that sure is weird and strange and odd. You're not my friend anymore. And first of all, okay. And second of all, yeah, I agree. One reference to WarioWare in DDLC, much less 2 of them, was like 6 more references than what I was expecting. You are an idiot, ha 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 ha. So I actually never mentioned this when I made the original Iceberg, which further justifies this entry's placement here, but in Get It Together, on the micro game where you have to clear the computer screen of ads, specifically in the level 3 variant, there is actually a window that references the popular computer virus, You Are an Idiot, which if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry to say, but you make me feel like an old woman. You are an idiot! Now, this is all cool and all, but I believe they should have gone further with it and made it so that if you failed the microgame while that window was on the screen, it played the actual You Are an Idiot song before bricking your Switch. It'd be funny, I promise. Penny's parents. Okay, so earlier in the Iceberg, I brought up that 9Volt's dad actually is mentioned. However, the same cannot be said for the parents of Penny Krygor. Now, that by itself isn't significant. We don't know about the parents of characters like Kat, Anna, Lulu, 18Volt, etc. But also, the differences between those characters and Penny is that Penny actually has both a location of residence by herself and a person who is documented taking care of her. That being Dr. Krygor, her grandfather. This, of course, brings into question, why is Krygor the one taking care of Penny and not her parents? This has led many fans to think that Penny's parents are, for one reason or another, not in the picture. This could also be supported by the gold card that points out Krygor's 100-year-old age, as one could interpret this as Krygor extending his life so Penny actually had a guardian to take care of her. Of course, other theories for this is that Penny is not actually a real girl, but instead an experiment Krygor made. I have no real strong opinion on that one, by the way, other than that if it was the case, it'd make the fact that her gimmick and Get It Together involves water really funny. Super Pyoro Beanstalk Secret. It did actually interest me how few people knew about this, but in the Super Pyoro game in WarioWare Gold, there are these beanstalks that grow, and if you simply just try to climb them, you end up finding a secret area where you can rack up a bunch of points for a limited amount of time. Which, not gonna lie, was the only way you were going to get me to complete the endgame missions related to Super Pyaro. Because holy frickin' frick on a stick, that game is really hard. Everyone is neurodivergent. People ask me what I meant by this, and in response to that question, I refuse to elaborate. Wario is my autistic king, so is Jimmy T. Do not get me started on 18-volt and 9-volt. I projected my autism onto them, and now we're here. Everyone in this game is also LGBT, by the way, but I didn't put that on the iceberg because it goes without saying, really. Seriously, though, I genuinely only put this here because I like to project my neurodivergency onto my comfort characters, and that's like the whole WarioWare cast, so... What? What's that noise I made? Ashley's backstory. Hey, did you know that Smooth Moves has an in-universe blog? I didn't until a couple months ago. On there, Ashley and Red have a segment that says the following when translated.
Ashley, I'm not interested in blogs. Red, you write.
Red! What? Me? Why? Whatever. Red. Again. I'm Ashley's close friend. Red! I haven't told this to anyone, but Ashley is actually pretty lonely. While we were experimenting with magic by the riverbed, we saw a friendly family of apes. Then Ashley seemed to be looking far away. I acted as though I hadn't noticed, but I know very well. She was probably thinking about her parents from her hometown. Ashley has more cuter characteristics than you might think. Now, it's fully unclear what this says about Ashley's backstory, 100%, but it gives us just enough to write fanfics that's either very wholesome or bathing in angst. Or both.
Waluigi's supposed phone call. In WarioWare Gold, you can dial the code HEAD in the phone souvenir to get a unique message. Many people have speculated that the person you're talking to could be Waluigi. They say the following. Listen, stop calling. I already said I wouldn't do it. Wait, this isn't Wario, is it? Ugh, that guy's been pestering me to make games for him. He's always been a pest, and he's never going to be anything but a pest. If you see Wario, tell him my decision is final. No games, no way. What's that? My name? Sorry, gotta run. I can't blame the speculation, to be honest. Waluigi, if anyone, is the Mario character that would make the most sense to appear in the WarioWare universe. I guess if this was him, even though he's Wario's partner in crime most of the time, this is one scheme that goes too far. Either that or Nintendo has a vendetta against including Waluigi in anything other than sports spin-offs. Look at this though, he's literally so cool. Missed opportunity. Okay, but shout out to Baroness Drip.
Decision Boy. An entry so obscure that I didn't even know about it until after I made the iceberg. But in Game & Wario, there is an unlockable in the toy room called Decision Boy. A side mode where if you ask the self-appointed Decision Boy a yes or no question, he, answers it. It's very basic, of course, but the way he yells yes and no yes is genuinely hilarious, and it's one of my favorite parts of that game.
Naked Wario sprite. In Mega Microgames, the microgame WarioWare has graphics for a naked Wario. Going into the game files, you can see that he is actually... You know what, I'm not putting this in the video. You guys check it out for yourself. Orbulon ages, but no one else does. Looking through various promotional material and character bios, Orbulon's age is revealed to always be whenever the game came out, meaning by Get It Together, he is around 2022 years old. Overlooking that he's as old as time itself, why hasn't anyone around him aged? Mona's still in high school, and the kids don't look any bigger or go to any new schools. Is Diamond City in a time loop and Orbulon doesn't count because he's technically from space? That would be pretty fucked up. But hey, that's just a theory. Again!
Mona's parents' picture. In WarioWare Get It Together, in Mona's opening cutscene, there is a picture shown of Mona and what looks to be her parents. One of them being a redhead wearing primarily yellow clothing, and the other a man with a distinct mustache wearing green. Sound familiar? Most fans would think so, as this sounds scarily similar to Daisy and Luigi respectfully. This has led people to also believe that Mona is the child of both Luigi and Daisy, which leads into... future theory. This is an extension of Mona's parents' picture, where people not only theorize that Daisy and Luigi's child is Mona, but also that this could imply that WarioWare takes place in the future in relation to the main Super Mario series timeline. To many fans, this would explain why none of the Mario's current lore is referenced, along with any mention of the Mushroom Kingdom. This could further explain why most of the cast wouldn't be seen in any Mario games, as most of the cast are young and would probably not be born at the time. But what do you think? Leave your comments down below! Also leave a comment on my doorstep, and send me your car, sell me your car, give me your car for free.
Hey Ray, I got the car. Get in. Get in! Thank you all so much for watching this video all the way to the end. And thank you for your patience. I know this was a long time coming, but it was a lot of work, and sometimes life gets in the way, so I really do appreciate it. As of recording this, I have 4,130 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate every single one of you. I hope to deliver more content to you really soon, just not for a bit because making this made me tired, so I will be taking a bit of a break. Any words from you, Ray?
This has been Ray of WarioWare, and look out for all of my amazing video essays, where I make a video essay of my top 10 characters who sound funny when they get electrocuted and get it together. Number 1 might surprise you.
Awesome. Yeah, totally go check that out, and love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.